Hey, good morning, everyone. So I am here right now to discuss with the chapter 5, since we're done with development of personnel management. So here in the chapter 5, we'll be discussing sa tong subject of personnel administration. We'll be discussing about the code of ethics of personnel management. So of course, before we are going to continue with uh, the informations that are actually here in my PDF, we have to define first, no? Kung unsa din ni ang code of ethics. So, I know everybody, this is actually sometimes, no, sahay interchangeably ang code of ethics, pwede na to siya ma-understand as policy, pwede po siya balaod, o uban, they would say nga mo na siya sundanan, no, from the word itself, code. So, for your information, the code of ethics is a guiding set of principles intended to instruct professionals to act in a way or in a manner that is honest and that is beneficial to all stakeholders. No, so coming from the word itself, it is a set of principles. Of course, dili siya principles nga kanang tumutumo lang, but principles that are based on legality. Yeah, it is, since we talk about the legal basis, of course, it is understandable, it is humane, it is something that is practical, and it's always looked up for the benefit of everybody. Okay, so here we have this what we call professional responsibility. So the core principle. So as HR professionals, we are responsible for adding value to the organizations we serve and contributing to the ethical success of those organizations. So we accept professional responsibility for our individual decisions and actions. We're also advocates for the profession by engaging in activities that enhance its credibility and value. So meaning to say, kanilang professional responsibility, no, gikan sa tong code of ethics nga gi-mention, it's a set of principles that shows us the guidelines or the manner wherein kana no gipahimutang siya, no, para sundon sa mga tao, para sundon sa mga trabahante, no, para nga for them to become well guided and at the same time to effectively utilize or functionalize in the organization. So dire ato makita, no, the word itself that contribute to the success of the organization. So importante gid siya, no, kung diri sa core principle nga gi-mention this professional responsibility, kung wala, no, we as a professional, kung wala tay code of ethics, of course it is very impossible for us to achieve. It is very impossible for us to actually contribute for the success of the organization without following any of the code of ethics. No, so diha nahimo siyang advocates. We are also advocates for the profession by engaging activities. So they are the one who initiated. They are the one who plans and execute or and exercise. No, diya silang kaugalingon, and so they also created mga activities that could be beneficial for the people. No, gitawag diya to enhance its credibility and value. Now, the intent. Let us read the intent. To build respect, credibility, and strategic importance for the HR profession within our organizations, the business community, and the communities in which we work. So let us not forget that since HR is very broad on its scope of responsibility, of course, basically, not the organizational responsibility, we have responsibility towards the community and for the people who are working inside the organization. It's very important also that we have to put into consideration that they are not just working there, no, and that they're not just working for a salary. They are also a human being that needs to need something, no, for them to be able to grow and for them to be able to polish whatever will be the talents and the skills that they have. Next, to assess the organizations we serve in achieving their objectives and goals. So the organizations itself, of course, they do not just came out by a matter of an accident, but the organizations were actually established. They were actually established for the purpose of serving the people, not only for gaining profit. Next, we have to inform and educate current and future practitioners, the organizations we serve, and the general public about principles and practices that help the profession. So every people, both graduate mo siya kay sometimes no ang atong understanding about professionalism, those people only who actually finished bachelor. No, it's not like that. Every people every people having its profession are also professional. They are those people who become experts on their different fields, by which natay kuha nila no natay pananagutan sa ilaha ug sa tinagalog pa no, and that pananagutan speaks about on how we can help them to achieve their goal, and by just achieving that goal, of course the impact of that would be the benefits of the company and the benefits of itself, of course. Next, to positively influence workplace and recruitment practices. So diyan no, gitawag diya positively influence with the workplace. Uh, to harmonize, no, to become to put everything in order, and the recruitment process practices, it's very important also because this is the very beginning. No, mo organization ug danan. So when we recruit, we are selling the company to the people. We are selling to the company about the applicant. And what are the things? Since I mentioned about selling, of course, we are giving them that assurance of personal growth and professional growth. So basically, that's very important. Now we have to move on to the fifth intent, which is to encourage professional decision making and responsibility. So dira no diri ang term diri nga encourage not only that the people who are actually in the top management who are only responsible for making or who are responsible only for this what we call the decision making process. Of course, it needs with the collaboration with the people under the kanino sa mga downlines. They are those people who can actually somehow impart some ideas through which the top management could actually utilize or could actually make a very effective decision making. So they are part of the process, and that whatever will be the decisions, of course, it's somewhat like in a family. No nga, kung usa ka kung ang head mag-decide, ang papa mag-decide, it could actually affect the whole part of the family. So it's somewhat like that. That when a supervisor make decisions, of course, set to it that it is coming also from the idea that they must also consult with the people who are there in the laylayan so that they can be able to know and they can be able to actually utilize a very effective plan. Okay, to encourage social responsibility. So it's not only that you as a leader who has the responsibility in the organization. Dili, no? Those people also, you have to let them realize that since we are working here, we are part of the organization, you're part of the family. So whatever will be the decisions that we have, whatever will be the repercussions or the outcomes of this decision that we made from the top management, of course, you are always involved of this. So with that, you let those people that they have that kind of responsibility. They also have kana no napud sila pananagutan, napud sila napud na sila corresponding effect sa ilang life. So the guidelines adhere to the highest standards of ethical and professional behavior. So what is meant to adhere means to follow, no, without any questions, because first and foremost, the ethical standards that are actually being designed is not the wala lang sa ibutang niya no for nothing, but that is actually being designed with a cause and with a purpose. So everybody, what are the code of ethics? What is the purpose of the code of ethics? Of course, it always look up, it always put into considerations about the professional behavior, the longings of the professional behavior that everyone must do inside the organization. Number two, measures the effectiveness of HR in contributing to or achieving organizational goals. So diya makita po no on how HR effectively no contribute to the achievement of kani sa organizational goals. Next, number three, we have to comply with the law. So when particular HR personnel coming from the mandates of the top management impose or implement a particular policy, set to it that is compliant and adhering to the law. as I mentioned earlier sa akong previous discussion, it's very important because law always protect people, and the law is not actually designed for, or it is not only designed for favorable only for a single person, but it is for everybody. We have number 4, work consistent with the values of the profession. So diano, we have the values. We must have that values, no? Diya sa tuang profession. Strive to achieve the highest levels of service, performance, and social responsibility. So diha na gimura sa gibalik na po, no, nga diha we have to give our best, the kind of service that are actually dili lang ingon nga mingon maoram ni among sildo, maor po ni among trabaho. No, you have to give all your best. You have to think you have to create actually to create a bigger world out of your own nga. There is that it's not only about serving the organization because you wanted to actually acquire the means of your own personal needs, but also that is something that contributes, and you are serving with the people, no nga, you're helping them at the same time. And yes, always believe in that nga nagi na siya corresponding pod nga sukli diha sa imuha. 6, we have advocate for the appropriate use and appreciation of human beings as employees. So by treating them well, of course, they can have that appreciation of themselves, that somehow they become part of the family, and somehow they know themselves that the company is putting value on their presence and on their capabilities. 7, advocate openly and within the established forums for debate in order to influence decision making and results. So it's not only for the top management. It's not like, for example, if I am the manager or supervisor, it's not only the decision making process, not only at my end, but it has to start coming from the people. No, if it needs to actually have a debate on that, because that debate could actually help to result or to actually resort this kind of effective decision making, then it would be good. No, if you're going to allow those people also to share whatever will be the feelings, the emotions that they have, the ideas that they have. So mura po siya og kuan class, no, og nata sa eskwelahan, no? It's very important. Next, we have the professional development. So core principle, we have as professionals, we must strive to meet the highest standards of competence and commit to strengthen our competencies on a continuous basis. So nindot juga no, ligon kay ang core principles diyan, no, nga kita we have to meet, we have to strive, no, we have to strive, we have to try our best to meet the highest standards of competence. Atong balikon, dili lang diha, no, mamingon lang ta nga kanila kay maoram ni amo sweldo, but we have to exert, we have to give more, no, we have to give more, not by just thinking that you're actually being paid with that kind of compensations, then you will just only exert that kind of effort. Maora pod, no, we have to, if you can actually go for an extra mile, then it will be good. No, okay, somehow you can help. That would also speak to the competencies that you have. Kung kaingon po sila no nga, bisan og nana na siya, no, but dili kita kan underestimate niya, because in terms of working, in terms of performance, he's always giving his best. So intent to expand our knowledge of human resource management to further our understanding of how our organizations function. So mura sa siya ato siyang lantaw, no, it's not only for a temporary, and the knowledge that we can acquire only on the HR relies on a single moment of time. We also have to understand nga continuously naagi nang gitawag na learnings, no, there will always be a learnings, like for example karon, no, we are actually living a new normal. So lain na po ang sistema karon sa panarbaho na work from home, and of course it could actually invite for another way that every management has to adapt, or else of course they will find it very difficult to kanino mumukuan sila, no, ilang previous way of management is nara naka rely dito, di sila adaptable, lisod ang usa ka organization. Now, to advance our understanding of how organizations work, the business of the business. So Diya no, lantawon po na di ay, no, there is a human resource management or the personal management ng mga functions that in time to time, no, how everything has to work. Like for example, karon sa BPO company, and there are lots of organizations and companies that are allowing people to work from home. And if that is the medium, of course, they would, if it needs them to actually add up or revise again with the policy and the code of standards or ethical standards. So diha, ilahagi ning apply. The guidelines, pursue formal academic opportunities. So diha no, another opportunities. Next, to commit to continuous learning, skills development, and application of a new knowledge related to both human resource management and the organizations we serve. So diha, uh, that kaning learning manggod, it's a lifetime commitment. Nya, it would actually invite people to engage, uh, to actively participate so that somehow they can develop new skills and apply also the knowledge that they have, the new knowledge that they have from that kind of experience. Three, contribute to the body of knowledge, the evolution of the profession, and the growth of individuals through teaching, research, and dissemination of knowledge. Ang teaching, dili na to siya understand by word, but ang teaching dili naman siya applicable sa mga teacher, no? There's also a term that being used, like for example, coaching or mentoring. That's applicable also the also sa organization, especially the one who actually acquires the seniority. So that senior in the organization, kana ba mga tag-as na dagko ng mga eksperyensya, that's another room for them also to, to outcast, to showcase, and to grab that opportunity to teach the young ones. Pursue certification where available or comparable measures of competencies and knowledge, especially right now that certificates are very important sa tuang kinabuhi. Nga, kana gani even gani ano maglukat tag lisensya, there must be a certificate when you wanted to actually imong pasaka ang number sa imong lisensya, there's a need of a certificate that coming from the endorsement of the company. Now, sa organization nga aspect dire, everybody when the HR manager or the HR personnel who is actually assigned for the training and development, so they are the one who will actually prepare certificates to that would follow after the training, because that is very important. That becomes the basis of the competencies that you have nowadays. Ethical leadership. So the core principles, HR professionals are expected to exhibit individual leadership as a role model for maintaining the highest standards of ethical conduct. So Diano, if you are the leader, what is that expected? What is that expectancy? Since we talk about role model, of course, you have to possess a positive attitude, positive behavior in the organization, so that the every people would also follow your footsteps. A moment, please. Okay, so next, intent to get the standard and be an example of others. So if you impose a policy, see to it that you in the first place follow the policy so that you will not be questioned by the people. Number two, to earn individual respect and increase our credibility with those we serve. So, mo ginagingon class no nga, how can you invite, how can you let those people follow you? Well, in the first place, you and yourself, you are the one who violated the policy. So set to it that you are credible enough. No nga, muna if you impose kind of policy, set to it that you're a good role model before you can actually let other people follow your footsteps. Guidelines. Number one, be ethical, act ethically in every professional interaction. So diha, no? Number two, question pending individual and group actions when necessary to ensure that decisions are ethical and are implemented in an ethical manner. So muna nga, like when there is someone who will actually intend to question with the kind of policy that you impose, of course, it has to undergo with this what we call due process. Now nga, set to it also that the policy that is actually being imposed are actually being done with this what we call group discussions, so that kanino kaning it will actually or inevitably, no, or eventually mukuha na siya, no, mo corresponds man in group actions when necessary. So di ano nga ato na tan-awon nga the implementation of the policy is an ethical way if that was actually discussed before that was approved. 3, seek expert guidance if ever in doubt about the ethical propriety of a situation. So if you in yourself, you are in doubt because you have that limited usara man gyud ni hinungdan ano no, kaning matawag na tog limited knowledge. So if your knowledge is limited only to kay kaning guno di mo guta especially if you are not a law major, you are not a law major, set to it that you're in just basis, no, dili kay ngon nga pataka lang ag hamag kay abi you are in the person who is in the position, set to it nga there's always a consequence in every action. So di kita no, if you are in doubt because that particular kana nga particular nga kuano kana nga particular nga kana nga situation, something needs a very kuan kayo no, logical kayo nga logical and very legal kasi no, it is relating to a very legal matter, so you have to ask the advice or ask coming from the guidance of the expert. Through teaching and mentoring, champion the development of others as ethical leaders in the profession and in organizations. So di ano, importante kining teaching and mentoring gani sa pagsugod pa lang nato sa before you let those people, mga empleyado, before you let them to go on board sa ilang trabaho, they have to undergo training. Yeah, that's the best time also, so that you can actually insert the way the job has to be done, what are the standards of the quality standards of service that are to be expected from the particular job. Yeah, pod. Unya, the corresponding also the corresponding responsibilities for the job. Now let's go and proceed to this what we call fairness and justice, the core principle. As a human resource professionals, we are ethically responsible for promoting and fostering fairness and justice for all employees and their organizations. Na usahay no, mingon din ng uban ng supervisor nga dili lang ta mo kuano kay gwapa ra ba ni? Di ta mo kuan kay dato ra ba ni? Ano? Ay mga inguna as much as possible, delegate as much as possible, but kaning fairness and justice, this has to be exercised, not considering with the status, not considering with whatever will be the situations or whatever will be the instances that the person becomes tan-aw na to no nga ang age sa katao. It's not like that. Natay favorite, natay dili favorite, natay gikalagutan, dili no. It has to be exercised in a just manner. Intent to create and sustain an environment that encourages all individuals and organizations to reach their fullest potential in a positive and productive manner. So of course, if you exercise fairness and justice, mukha po na siya eventually ang organization po, ang mga tao po diha no, they can actually feel the love and that they belong to the organization, because when you have that someone nga imong tan-aw na you have that bias ba nga way sa panglantaw sa imong mga trabahante, that is one way no that could urge every individual nga maligut-gut sa imuha. Nga gani na hinon mo na lagi mapadong na hinos dako kay kagubot kay mo na man kay gilabanan na kay gipanigan, so see to it that wala jud tana no, especially if you are in the high position, you are the one who is in charge to kanino to have the control kana about the implementation of the policy. Guidelines respect the uniqueness and worth of every individual. So, yeah, no? The uniqueness, of course, you have to understand that everybody, mingon ka nga, si Kuan man lagi, be. Kuan man lagi itong makasala. Ikaw, nakasala man lagi ka. No? Ang uba, nga si Pulano na late, niya ikaw lagi, wa lagi. Oh, nganong ikaw si kakalit niya si Pulana, wa. Dili, yun. You have to understand, you have to weigh matter before you are going to make decisions. Set to it that you are always in a logical way. So that somehow, kaning without intrinsic worth of every individual, the moment that you are going to exercise injustice, dili na ni siya mo question sa intrinsic worth of every individual. Unsa giday ko? So day pulos na kusud sa organization. Why is that so? Nga namo sila pinalabi. No? So diha na dayon na no ang kanading grudges. May tabo, no? Treat people with dignity, respect, and compassion to foster a trusting work environment free of harassment, intimidation, and unlawful discrimination. So diha na dapat na gitay ngipon. Ngipon that never recognizes someone or anyone that is that would think that that is an edge of them to have it that kind of special treatment. Number 3, ensure that everyone has the opportunity to develop their skills and new competencies. So you have to let those people realize that everybody, the opportunity that is to be given to every individual is equal. No? So para sa sila po, they can actually let themselves, let that sense of pride of them nga mo grow. Number 4, assure an environment of inclusiveness and a commitment to diversity in the organizations we serve. So you have to, to as much as possible, you have to harmonize the environment. No, you have to let those people know that they belong to the group and they are part of the organization. They're part of the family. So every one of them, no, is naagid siya pulos. Oo. Mo na purpose nga nganong di kita pwede mingon no kaabi kay naa man ka sa accounting nga department, na ka sa unsa pa na sa admin department nga mas labaw ka sa uban. Okay? Dili gid pwede, no? So as much as possible, it has to be nga dapat patas gid siya. No, wala gid siya kana nga pinalabi. Ayaw sa ko dia itbi kana klase ko. Matapos daw kasi ano ba yun? Okay, so next, develop, administer, and advocate policies and procedures that foster fair, consistent, and equitable treatment for all. So I think I'm done discussing about that one. 6, regardless of personal interest, support decisions made by our organizations that are both ethical and legal. So if that is something that would actually look up with in a very ethical way and a legal way, of course, we should not go against that one. Instead, we have to support because mao na atong balikon kaning ethics, it is the highest standard of morality. It enables every individual to actually look with what is good act, what is a good act and what is the wrong actions. Then of course that is adhering to this what we call legal matter. So if that is in a legal matter, we have to understand nga para nas kayuhan sa tanan, it is not actually designed for the purpose of favoring only for a single side. 7, act in a responsible manner and practice sound management in the country in which the organizations we serve and operate. We have to the manner and practice of the sound management. So what is meant to actually have this sound management? Of course, a reasonable management, a harmonious way of management, and management without any bias, no? A management that is just and fair, management that is well competent. Now, next we have this what we call the conflict of interest. So the conflict of interest, we have the core principle as HR professional, we must maintain a high level of trust with our stakeholders. We must protect the interest of our stakeholders as our professional integrity and should not engage in activities that create actual, apparent, or potential conflicts of interest. So the way, no nga pwede na to siya ma-exercise kaning gitawag conflicts of interest ba. Gani no kaning example, if you are working to a particular company, anya you have another relation to another company which is considered to be the paano mo ka kompetensya sa inyong kumpanya ba niya, you communicate with the people part of them, so of course it cannot be denied that you are in a conflict of the interest. So somehow kaning gitawag nito professionalism no, apil na mo ning gitawag dili conflict of interest. You have to work with loyalty. You have to give kanino privacy to what is the core values, the goals, the vision, and the mission of the organization. Set to it that you are protecting that one because that's very important. Now, the intent to avoid activities that are in conflict or may appear to be in conflict with any of the provision of this code of ethical and professional standards in human resource management or with one's responsibility and duty as a member of the human resource profession and or as an employee of a organization. So, or any organization. Diya, no? Bawal dyan kayo na sa tua. No, daghan mag-weigh kaning gitawag ito conflict of interest. Other than that, kaning so one way na ano nga that you have the communication at the same time also you are working from one company to other company which is considered to be the kanino kompetensya sa inyong organization, so you are part of them also, so it cannot be denied. Like for example, uh you are holding a service, a non-government service, but at the same time you have that position in a non-government service relating sa kanang, like for example, if you are working in ano siya tawag ani, you are working in a butando construction firm and at the same time also you have the position in DPWH, dili siya no, it's a conflict of interest. There are possibilities nga pwede man gud na no, daghan kay way. So that is just an example, but anyway daghan kay way nga makuha na to ang kaning conflict of interest. One of that also is kanino when a two person in a kani sa usa ka organization, you are going to usong guna no kanang bakir-bakir o mao na usahay no consanguinity or any other like unsa pay imuhang relationship towards anang mga pamilya nga imong ipanghakot sa usa ka organization. Sometimes wala gina siya gi-allow because that is also a conflict of interest. Nga ngano nahimong ng conflict of interest by virtue of law. It's actually it looks up with this what we call the possibility of kani ba nga mag-unionize mo diha no, mo na gina mo kuan mo magkasinabot mo diha no, pwede ninyo mag-economic sabotage mo diha within sa organization, pwede nga mag-unionize mo by means of kani makigbatok mo sa usa ka organisasyon, so it's a very wrong kayo no. Well, number one, adhere to and advocate the views of published policies and conflicts of interest within your organization. So you have to protect also the welfare of the organization. Number two, refrain from using your position for personal, material, or financial gain or the appearance of such. So diha na pwede po no nga mingon ka naarba ko DPWH trabaho. So ay gyud ko don't me gyud kasi ganahan kag mataktak ka. Taktak ka ang sitong gikasabad ja. Ma'am, bawal man rin mo U-turn. I have the position in the LTFRB. Who are you to question me? Oh, kuyo kay no? Mo na it's very wrong yun, no? Refrain from giving or seeking preferential treatment in the human resources processes. So diha no? That you have that preferential treatment na mga special treatment, one way also. Na may uban no nga na gani sa government, gani sa gobyerno mo bakir-bakir. Nya good for them because they have known someone who is in the position nya makatabang nila nga mubakir nila mo na usahay no nga sometimes nya na ma-question ang ato ang balaod no nga kay nabi gitay balaod nga nagprotektaan ng kanabang may ana ba nga kaning the conflict of interest nya. Still there are people who are exercising that one in terms of professionalism tagak na kay one way that we can actually say that you are very professional is you have to look up with this possibility that you cannot actually compromise this what we call the conflict of interest nga part diri sa tuang code of ethics or code of standard. Now, use of information, the core principle, so kaning use of information no usa po ni siya no, Core principle, HR professionals consider and protect the rights of individuals, especially in the acquisition and dissemination of information, while ensuring truthful communication and facilitating informed decision-making. So, sa may pasabot, ani. Now, we have this 201 file sa atua, no? Sa isip kita, mga trabahante. So, dili na siya pwede no, nga ipanabi na dito sa mga HR dito nga si kuan ra ba bugo mo siya yung average sa ba sa una no pag college niya kay 2.5. Dili gid no. That's no. Kaya nga no, pwede jud ka kasuhan ana. Or especially kanino, we have that an individual rights na niya, naputay the rights for confidentiality. So every information that is actually owned by a certain individual is in the aspect of this what we call confidential. So it should not be divulged to anyone, not unless there is an order coming from the court that needs for that particular person who becomes the bearer or the subject to actually share an information, a very important information to resolve cases. So that's the time siguro that you are going to participate. But if that is not something that would aim sa para sa for your own personal interest regapon, since it is related with what called conflict of interest, you're sharing that one to your friend because like for example, someone nga nanguyab sa imuha nga igagaw, coming from imong trabahante, nya mingon din ka nga, la, ni bati ba kay na siya kuano, bati ba kay siya kanang eskwelahan, di ka deserving niya kan eskwela na siya kani nya ikaw San Carlos ka. Nya yung grado sa una gay 3.0 rum gyud yung average. Ingana no, gamit sa di maayo. So the information has to be kept private. Intent to build trust among all organization constituents by maximizing the open exchange of information while eliminating anxieties about inappropriate and or inaccurate acquisition and sharing of information. So guidelines, acquire and disseminate information through ethical and responsible means. So, na ano? Ethical and responsible means. Ako kuanan ano, gimin nga na parehato ganiya no. When there is that when there's a need for an organization, especially the participation of coming from the top management to for someone who is actually conducting an investigation for the cause of legal matter, that's the time that you can participate. But if it's not coming from that matter, no other than that, na nga pwede jud ka mo kuan. Especially like for example, ni kalit lang nakapatay imong trabahante niya, wala na sudsud niya, the police are actually trying to trace the person. So it would be better, siguro, no, coming from the order of the court for you to participate and to help resolving that issue. Ensure only appropriate information is used in decisions affecting the employment relationship. So diha ra gina siya no, wagi siya labot sa lain nga organization. Investigative accuracy and source of information before allowing it to be used in employment related decisions. So diha gyapon. I know it's understandable to everybody. Number 4, maintain current and accurate HR information. So diha no, every information that you can get coming from the person, everything is recorded and everything is actually kept. Safeguard restricted or confidential information. Importante na, no? Number 6, take appropriate steps to ensure the accuracy and completeness of all communicated information about HR policies and practices. So diha no, iyag yung ikaw sad mismo, when you are going to impose this what we call the code of ethics, if you are the HR personnel and you belong to the top management, especially a manager, see to it that the law or I'm sorry, not the law, the policy that is actually being implemented are complete, no? And at the same time, of course, by means of communication, that was actually the people who becomes the subject to follow that kind of policy are fully informed. Nag-undergo na sila orientation na naklas. Lain sige mo impose kag policy niya walay orientation. So it's illegal. It's not ethical. Okay? Take appropriate steps to ensure the accuracy and completeness of all communicated information used in HR related training. So every training, like when you are giving kanano naamon gitay gitawag o kanang kuano kana bang atua bang tenureship sa usa ka organization, pila ka tuig na nagkuan diyan no, nagtrabaho. When there is a certificate provided in every training na involved ka and naam sa ginilista siya class, di sila malabo sila mahitabo nga ang usa ka tawo, ang usa ka empleyado mo deny siya nga wa siya kapil sa training. Kay ang HR lagi na siya complete record for those people who will actually participate the kind of training. Aside from the ano ba nga aside from the responsibility of providing certificates after the training, napo na sila record dira no nga like example ilang sirukan imong imong certificate nga ilang i-attach dito sa imong 201 file, at least somehow from time to time that they will be needing that one for a very important matter, for promotion, for demotion, or for termination. At least they have the basis on everything. Okay, na sila basihan dito ilang lang tawon. Excuse me, so ingon ana. So I think no, that would be all, and I hope you have learned a lot from our discussion. And thank you so much, and God bless you all, everyone, and happy Easter in advance. Thank you.